but we were good and we were effective and disruptive, but we didn't look the part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, when those energy companies are sitting and looking at their projects and they say, well, we've got company A, B, and C, national level firms, well branded, well marketed. They all had business development guys that, they were all, they were in their face constantly. We just could not compete from an image and perspective. Like we were just outclassed, honestly, in that area. Now, never mind the fact that we actually did better work than they did. And we actually gave our customers a better customer experience because, we were personal, nimble, agile for all intent and purposes, but we didn't look the part and we were missing out on opportunities because of that.
So you went and did a little study, and you found us, and you probably talked to some other folks.
Yep.
Your expectation at that point was probably X, but now on this side of that decision, talk to us about how what you perceived you needed before the engagement with us, and now what you understand really was the real value, the real thing that you needed. The problem you discerned, or I just talked about, right, was X, but the real problem you needed to know about was different.
Well, I think fortunately for me, personally speaking, I think I had some realistic, a little bit of an awakening and a realistic expectation going into my engagement with ROI Online. And because I had read, the book, Donald Miller's StoryBrand book, I realized, okay, I'm in way over my head. Like, I understand the why behind everything in that framework and in story-based marketing. I understood the why, but the how, I was, it was impossible. And I was, working 50, 60 hours a week at that time. I was like, I don't have time to do this, organically myself. There's no way. And so when I looked at that, I was like, okay, I need a guide. Like, it's obvious, like this is outside of my area of expertise. I've got a bachelor's in science and GIS and surveying, and this is marketing. It's totally different animals. So I just knew, that I was going to need help, and you guys, fortunately for you, you're Texas-based company, that boded well with, some of the people and influence in our company that we needed to get buy-in, to get funding for this project. And our corporate office was in Pampa, which is a little community. I don't know, 20,000 people, 45 minutes east of Amarillo. You guys are Amarillo based. That's where your address is at anyways. So, geographically, it kind of culturally, you guys became a good option for us. And then I had a conversation with you, and that kind of sealed the deal. I feel like you understood exactly where we were at and where we needed to go. And so
there was a little bit of risk associated with this decision because this was your initiative that you brought to your team. So the risk of picking an agency or a designer or whatever that might become a dud would have hurt your stock value, so to
yeah, for sure.
Talk about that.
Well, I think that's pretty much where that was kind of the line in the sand. Was I just had to take ownership of it and just told them, look, if this thing flops, then it's on me. Take it out of my profit sharing at the end of the year if it doesn't work. Like, it would just I felt that confident that it was the right move. And that's just part of being an entrepreneur too, right? Like, you have to take risk, a calculated risk, right? You don't want to be reckless. This wasn't a reckless engagement or investment in the company. I'd done several years worth of homework. I'd done as much homework as I could. And at some point you have to be inclined to action, right? You can study, but you're not going to learn until you engage it. Right. So, so yeah, it was a risk to some extent, but it was a risk worth taking. And, if it just was awful, then, we would have at least ended up with a pretty picture on the web, on the
Mm-hmm.
internet for our website. Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
but there was so much more to this than just a crisp looking website. Right. So that's just a derivative of good marketing. And that's what I've learned is, if you go through good marketing process, a website just is just an output of that work. So